Ooh, I like that one. Yeah. You are listening to the Lost Minds. You say it, that sounds better. You are listening to the Lost Minds podcast.
Let's get this session started with a deep breathing exercise. And by deep breathing exercise, I mean, see you on the inside.
Hello. What are you doing? Just making a podcast. Bet you cool.
Interesting.
Welcome back to the Lost Minds podcast.
Welcome back to the Lost Minds podcast. I had a cut brick off.
Episode 46.
Episode 46.
Or in between 50, somewhere in there.
Somewhere close to it.
That was pretty good. I think it is 46.
I think it could be. Who knows? 0 to 50 is where we're going with this episode.
Yep. It's March, right?
Yeah, and it's close to a year because I was like talking to him about it because we usually like talk. Remember one of the first ones or one of the more, I guess, early ones. We were talking about the Schmeckles one where we went and did St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, the St. Patrick's Day. Right. Admir missed out on that.
That's
coming
up.
Are you coming with us next or this year?
I don't know. We'll see, dudes. Maybe not. I got a lot of very important events coming up. So
He does not.
We don't know. We don't know.
he does.
I'm planning on doing a lot of things this year. You know?
Big things.
Big things.
Jesus.
Big things are in the future, boys.
Sure, we'll just get out of the way. I mean,
Well, if
some
you'd
of those
like to
big
come
things-
with us, I think that'd be cool, right?
Yeah.
Maybe if some people want to schmeckle it out with us.
Well, that'd be interesting. Yeah, it's Thursday though, right? So we do it on the weekend.
Oh, dude, that's...
Shit like that.
Thursday.
You'd have to do it. Did you guys go on a Thursday last year?
I can't remember if we did on the weekend or we went Thursday.
Well, I'll have to see, because like I said, my bucket list is pretty full.
We
this
got
year.
the Schmeckles thing or whatever. We got all the coins.
It's fun.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I'm curious though, actually now, see if they're gonna do it on the weekend or if it is like Thursday or whatever day.
You guys gonna do gold coin thing again and buy everything in gold coins?
I think that's cool. It's always pretty fun. Everybody should have to do some shit like that, really. Because
accepting gold coins or whatever.
I think we even made the same joke in the thing before, but Brian would always joke about it. He's like, freaking everyone's Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
Sure.
Everyone comes out of the woodworks fucking wearing kilts and shit, you know. It's like, I would love to see you wear that normally, you know. Oh, I'm Irish today because it's St. Patrick's Day, it's acceptable. But you don't wear that any other day because even after everybody already knows what a kilt is and stuff, people
Do
still
you think
ask you,
this
what
month-
is that you're dressed for?
This month is the most popular 23andMe month. So people are like, I am Irish, look at that! 2%!
Oh, I bet most people. I bet Irish is probably one of the most diverse. Like, because I think a lot of people thought when they did their 23andMe, they were going to be like
Something
some
cool.
crazy thing. I mean, it was just like everyone just muddled up from the same, rats all over the.
Well, wasn't there a war when America was barely getting colonized, like, really well? Like, what I'm trying to say is Ireland got split up, right? Or taken over by someone, and a lot of the Irish people came to America very early.
Yeah, they're the first immigrants. They were,
yeah,
like shoved up
something
like
like
that
that.
gangs in New York shit. Dude, they were like, people hated on the immigrants, which was so crazy. I thought,
Well, it's because they're from another country. They're
Yep.
not American.
you're over here invading
Taking
us.
our gerbs.
But I was going to say, dude,
It's because they did it backwards. I just barely started to cut you off because the idea they should have just showed up and then been like, "Hey, we discovered New Ireland. We discovered New Ireland," and then the people already living there, we could call them, because they'd been Americans, so they would be like, "Oh, those are native ones," and then the Irish would have just shoved them off.
yeah, it's New Ireland.
There you go, New Ireland, and they wouldn't have had to been immigrants instead. Because they're not coming to a place, they just made it their own. Like, that's what we did.
You know how
Instead
you
of
said
immigrating there.
only one day a year people dress up like Irish because they pretend to be Irish for that one day? It kind of offended me because I have one day that I also dress up
Irish?
pretending to be something that I'm not.
Mexican, Cinco de Mayo.
On Cinco de Mayo.
I thought you were going to say a furry.
No,
I was
it's
like,
true.
You guys
He
meet
always
like
wears
at
the
least 12 times a year.
I was going to say vampire for Halloween all the time, but Brian hella beat me to
Yeah, he's
it.
got the mariachi outfit and everything, dude, and he just goes balls out. Yeah, he's like, no habla. Like, he's fucking sticks with it, dude.
Hardcore, dude.
Dude, that's racist as fuck.
I can't be racist if I'm Mexican at the time.
As long as he
heard
doesn't
that?
do the blackface, he's good.
Yeah,
That's what
I
people
think-
say, though, like, because of the marijuana thing. Do you see that stupid thing? A bunch of people have been doing little comedy skits on it, but I think it was either Vox or who's that other not complex news. There's another group of, it's a news thing. It's kind of corny, and people will just kind of read to the screen, and they just have like a blank color background. BuzzFeed.
BuzzFeed.
Okay, and so it was like something like that where some guy was like, "You guys need to stop saying marijuana. It's racist as fuck."
Marijuana?
Yeah, marijuana. It's racist apparently.
Why?
I don't know, but it's funny because 2 seconds into it, he's like, "Well, the word itself isn't inherently racist, but it was used as it's like funny because it's really not racist, you know." But
That's fucking dumb.
Well,
saying the term was meant to make it sound crazy or slander towards.
which is stupid because he sounds
I
like
guess
ignorant
other
as
people-
fuck. Marijuana was like the Spanish word for a wild weed that grew out in the desert. That's where
Is it?
marijuana comes from.
No, it's a naughty woman down the street.
Yeah.
Marijuana.
Is it really?
Yeah. Just kidding. I don't know.
Oh shit! I was like, hell yeah,
Dude,
dude! That's where they married Jane.
Admir probably knows a lot more Mexican slang than I do. He's the Cinco
Yeah.
de Mayo
He's like-
god.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
dude.
running with the cartel.
Yeah.
Yes, Cinco de Mayo.
Uno-
All wraps it back
yeah.
up.
Cinco de Mayo.
Because, oh my!
That's why I'm excited
that's
about my new
stupid.
trip going down to Mexico because finally going down there, boys. Oh.
That's what. Oh,
You're finally going down there legally.
Legally, yeah. Usually I just make a trip down there with my buddy, the Jackal.
but even when you think about it, with like
I
being
love how you
marijuana,
follow your joke with a fucking George W. laugh. And I was reading a book while the towers were on fire.
Dude, which that actually like tripped me out the other day. Like I was listening to a bunch of conspiracy theories, and I guess he replied to the second tower going down before it actually was even hit. Which made, I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a lot of things.
look into it.
Hispanic
That's all I'm saying,
vampire.
just look into it.
But
Hispanic
Look into it.
vampire, flat earther.
Hispanic vampire flat earther.
What point is that racist? I guess that never happens, huh?
What, marijuana?
If you think about it, like a lot of people.
I think a lot of people just like to trigger and want to be in their safe place.
I think people call for the other
Clickbait,
people.
dude. You
though.
fucking clicked on it, right?
I didn't. I just seen the like little ad thing. People had broke it up or whatever. But think about that. Like usually, I feel like it's other races call it for other races and stuff. Shouldn't you be like?
Oh, the wrong race calls it for the
yeah, they're
the
like,
other race.
let me hold on. Let me speak for you.
Yeah,
let me speak on behalf
I
of
will
you.
be-
Hold on. This is fucking racist. It's like, dude, who the fuck are you? You know, because it might be and stuff. But I feel like that is
White Knights.
like with
Yeah,
that shit. Like because
that's what it is.
Where he's like, I'm a Hispanic vampire and stuff like that. That's like very correct, you know. But someone would be like, they know vampires. Mexicans don't suck. Vampires suck. What the hell? That's racist, you know. It's like, where did you get that from, dude? But then someone else will point that shit out. That's a problem.
Like going back to that 23andMe thing where so when people do that test, it's usually you're not 100%.
Yeah, you'll
not
never be
100%.
100%.
Yeah, it's going to be you're going to have 1% this, 12% that,
Wouldn't that be
5%.
so weird,
And all
dude?
they do is they categorize you as like what your major thing is. So you're like, oh, you have 25.
Or the color of your skin. I'm brown, so
Yeah, but that doesn't really like deter.
no.
you could
If
be
me
brown,
and you are
but
in a store and a Spanish-speaking guy comes up to us, he's gonna speak Spanish to me, hands down.
It's like,
Just gonna say, unless it's Cinco de Mayo, and then he's gonna come to mariachi fucking poncho over here.
I'm like, hey, hola, Brian.
people are like, what
like,
the
you
fuck are
racist
you doing?
son of a bitch.
He's just wearing it. Yeah, he's got his little 23andMe. Pulls it out. Look at that, 5% right there. Oh, dude, someone's like, some guys like dropping the N-bomb and stuff. Whoa, dude, what the fuck? He's like, pull this little 23andMe. 2% right there, boy.
So get on my level, bitch.
Yeah, it's like, cause I was like, fucking, I got time today, cuz. Have you seen that?
Dude,
fucking
that'd
kid?
actually be really good. Getting into the business of printing out people like little, like plastic ticket things where it shows percentages of what they really are. So you could like flash that shit and be like,
dude.
privilege, bitch.
I don't know, dude. I think
That'd be
that
so
would be
funny.
scary.
I think it'd be funny because you probably find all these people that probably like so many people are the same.
Did
They
you
have the same privilege.
That takes me back to this Family Guy episode where Peter goes to get on an airplane and the freaking TSA agent picks up like a card and it's got like different tones on it. He puts it up to Peter's face and one of them is like suspicious, not suspicious, and it's like good to go, and they're good to go, and it's like a super white guy and he like puts it up, he's like, all right, you're good to go.
Yep.
That'd be great. I mean, terrible. That'd be terrible.
It reminds me of that Harold and Kumar and stuff. When the guy's like, can you step to the side? He's like, dude, you're being racist. And he's like, dude, I ain't racist. He's like, I'm black, whatever. And the guy, they pick like the most like white black guy they could find. Mm-hmm. And that's when he's like, "You're barely even chocolate or whatever."
barely milk chocolate
or something. It's so funny, but it's kind of interesting because those programs, dude. If you want to, I don't know, if you want to go to conspiracies and stuff, we always into. But like, I was reading, or I guess I watched like a few videos and seen a couple things about Antarctica and stuff like that. How people are talking about the conspiracies of there being maybe aliens or whatever. And I watched a video today where this guy was talking about Antarctica. Where how all these military bases and everybody are coming down there, but they're just.
So you're listening. You're starting to get into it. Like when I was telling you, I'm like, dude, you got to research.
What's his credibility?
The guy that I watched the video on?
Yeah.
4-star general.
Bullshit.
It's called Bright Insight. It's pretty good. He has all kinds of topics. And
the Bright Insight? That's a good one.
He's pretty good about that stuff.
Grandma's basement.
Most of the
They do some good
stuff
stuff.
he was showing was like the business conspiracy side. So kind of going back to like that, where all these countries, it was like a 7-country treaty that signed to not go over there, but then now it's like 30-something.
Yeah, Antarctica's treaty, dude.
Yeah.
Look into it, people.
But most of it, dude,
How did they film Blue Planet down there?
They did it on. They only have certain areas.
Yeah, there's certain areas they let you go. It's like a zoo.
But one thing he was like pointing out, he's like, I don't want to say there's like aliens or all kinds of weird stuff. He's like, there could be because there's all kinds of different things, and they kind of scoped out the pyramids, and he's like, yeah, this is not something crazy. He's like, but one thing, he's like, just look at the names. There's certain areas of the islands where people aren't allowed to go and stuff, unclaimed. They're called like the Rothschild Island, and then there's other ones that are like the Rockefeller Mountain Range, and so like they have like huge areas that are like designated for this, and supposedly like world leaders and all these like church officials and religious leaders and stuff go over there, and
pray.
Most of them go to these areas where they're. I mean, there could be whatever you want to say. Oh, there's aliens or whatever, but regardless of all that stuff,
There
they're
are
going
aliens.
to an island that is mainly in a whole area cut out for these people. That's not part of any country really. There's rich ass bankers, and they get whole areas of that. And so that's a weird conspiracy because that's
In and of itself, a place that no one's supposed to go. They own big chunks and big lands of it.
Imagine if you did arrive there, what they could do to you and nobody would ever know.
Technically, you're in, what is it called when you're in the middle of the ocean?
International waters.
Yeah. So you go down there and just disappear.
not unless that's where they got your 23andMe, dude. You got your samples confused, and Admir's like, dude, I'm a fucking Hispanic vampire. Woohoo! And then they're like, fucking, where did this sample for this fucking mummy go? And that's what was in the ice over there, was a freaking Hispanic freaking vampire.
Yep.
Like, I'm switched around because that's the one. I mean, if you want to go down the crazy part of the Antarctica thing, I think there's where they found all those weird microorganisms that survived way below the sheet of ice where the continent and everything is. Dude, and apparently they got like weird, like between the area there's water, so after like a mile down to the ice and there's water, and then there's the continent, so there's a whole area of like fresh water that's underneath.
Yeah.
And they're finding like these like octopus that, like, one of them apparently killed somebody. I gotta stop saying apparently. I fucking say that too much.
You're like the little apparently kid.
Apparently.
My dad likes.
I'm
My grandpa
working
wants
on
me to
it.
watch the Powerball.
apparently. But supposedly, just switching up words instead. Let me just fill something else in with something similar but different.
There could be anything down there.
Supposedly,
Allegedly,
realistically,
somebody like lost a person or something like that. Or somebody
How
had
do you
like,
lose a person? Yeah,
they got killed by the monster, dude.
Got killed by the fucking ice monster.
They called it fucking organism 24/7 or something like that, or 28/9 or something like that. Or some
it's
weird-
an octopus with an extra leg.
That's what it looked like. It was
It's a
what they called it.
nine-legged octopus. It's a nyctopus.
Octopus.
So you
The
could say there's like
octopus
weird
got 'em.
things down there that's why a lot of people are going for like the oil or whatever is another big conspiracy that they say as well, because there's so many resources, so it's kind of like cut in like pies.
But if it was like if an ancient civilization or aliens lived down there, don't you think they would have mined the resources? Which is so like one thing I found here.
Oh, I
is-
see what you mean, because that's what they are supposedly finding, right? A bunch of
Yeah, like alien
ruins
artifacts.
and shit.
Because like imagine if humans went to another planet. Like let's say we found another planet and there was semi, smart life on that planet. And we're like, okay, we need to rebuild our ships. Like, we need to build another ship or something. We're going to need resources. Let's send down mining, units or whatever to mine. Like, we're going to need to get everything from oil to steel to gold, platinum, aluminum. We're going to be mining that stuff. And if we're building a giant starship, we're going to need a lot.
But if we got there, we can make short work of it, right? Because we're that smart.
I feel like we'd do
Yeah,
something
but we'd
different,
leave
though.
a footprint, I think.
Don't you think? Don't you think we'd do something different? That's one thing I'm having an issue with too with the moon things. That's why I'm trying not to be like some kind of weird fucking conspiracy person, but with the moon landings and certain things like that, it's after you start start looking into it. You could say
Look into it, people.
it seems weird. Things are just stupid and weird, and so the same with like the.
They don't make sense, that's for sure.
But they could also almost not make sense, right?
Kind of.
Realistically?
No, because the reason with the moon, one thing they said is like the reason they haven't been back is because they lost the technology.
And that you
Well,
can't...
that's a bunch of bullshit.
Well, here's the
That's
thing.
fucking annoying. We have way better technology now, right?
Yeah.
I would
And
imagine.
the fact that they're like, oh, we can't leave because of the radiation, Van Allen belt or whatever will
yeah.
instantly kill you if you leave it. It's like, well, how did the first guys get there?
Because it wasn't as radiation.
No, it was still the same. And then they go...
They took film.
And they took
too, which is
film,
funny.
and you can't even put a fucking film into like
X-ray.
an X-ray.
Yeah.
It completely erases it. So it's like, how do they make it out into space? It's full of X-rays. None of those videos would have made it back. Taking a picture on the moon, it would have been erased. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it has to be like a radio wave
So-
or a light wave.
Yeah, so you're sitting there thinking, you're like, all right, I mean, that'd be cool, but what you're contradicting everything you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like saying, yeah, we've been to Jupiter, but you can't make it past the clouds. Then how'd you get to Jupiter?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Well, that's what goes back to that space technology thing with the resources is what other technologies do we use where we like rip something out of the ground and light it on fire, besides like coal and gas for like our vehicles. Really, I imagine we could be using like solar or like wind or some kind of other, some other kind of energy source. Mm-hmm. Especially if we have the ability to fly from fucking planet to planet to back to forth to all over the place. That for me would be, I don't know, way more of a crazy technology than like lighting some shit on fire to go somewhere, like to put down the street on a vehicle.
So what do you think
that?
of Musk's SpaceX rockets?
I like them. I'm kind of confused though.
I don't know, dude. It's weird to me. Was
Especially
it you
early-
telling me that it doesn't have any mirrors on it?
Yeah,
Like that's weird
they
to
pull all
me.
the mirrors off of it.
They
yeah.
took all the mirrors off so that you can't see reflections in the cameras, which is weird to me. I don't understand it. The color looks weird when it's in space. It just looks weird. It
Just
looks
the
like
way
it's
you
in a-
dressed
like
it
a
too. It's
green
like
warehouse.
it's real because it looks fake. And I was like, God damn it.
A lot of it looks
Damn.
weird.
But the one thing too is the tunes of everybody, like the way it starts off too.
His
'cause-
rocket actually didn't land either. Did you know that?
Yeah, I heard
the
a bunch
center
of,
one
a couple
crashed
of them
and
failed.
blew up?
They only showed the one.
The only ones that made it down were the two guide rockets or whatever.
Oh, that's
They landed, and then the main one that was supposed to land out in the ocean crashed and blew up.
That is one thing that is kind of cool because I did watch a SpaceX video where it was like the fails. I'm like, what the heck? And they actually did have a bunch of I guess
Test fails.
Yeah, they've
seen that.
failed quite a bit more than they've done. And I didn't realize how many they had tried. That's, I mean, it's funny. They're probably doing quite a bit more than North Korea. This billionaire is fucking sending rockets more than some country.
Oh, yeah.
But it was weird because I feel at the beginning he was, we need to have a base on the moon. He's like, I think that is really a big thing. We need our space bridge. We need something that will make it easy to get into space. That's why his is awesome because he's like cutting the space travel down by billions of dollars. Like all we need is an elevator or some kind of bridge or teleporter or even a base on the moon or something close to the planet.
Teleporter, dude.
That'd be sick.
I'd
huh?
never go through that.
I'd try
I
it.
would.
You wouldn't be you when you came out the other side.
Yeah, you would.
die, and then
You never
a new
know.
you
If
would
the
come out.
technology's up there. You never know, dude.
No, dude. I
But think about that shit. So, like, we just need something kind of close, so that gap from getting things into space is what kind of prevents us because it's so expensive and it costs so much everything, the radiation, all this kind of stuff. Say you get people through that and they're already on the base on the moon, they're ready to kind of enter into deep space and stuff. That is where we would be able to, I think, go to the Mars, go to that. But now it's funny, he after
skips the
starts,
moon?
Yeah, he starts spending all this stuff,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden now he's skipping the moon, dude. And that's the one that blows my mind. Is the moon is like
It's because the moon's already occupied by
It is
another alien
definitely
race,
occupied.
Dude.
Not
But
by
like,
an alien
nah,
race, but by
nah,
the
nah.
countries already.
I could see it. By
They probably
something,
have like
dude.
almost the exact same thing. They started off with small children there.
It's
No
so
small
weird,
children have
dude.
grown up to never know that there are
And
people
then
on
the
Earth.
NASA stuff, dude. I mean, I'm not sure if there's
That'd be
people from
terrifying.
NASA, but it's just so curious to me the way that it's set up. Where I don't get why they have a program where they spend more money on graphic designers and graphic artists than they do on some of their actual science, I guess, experiments and stuff.
That's because when
Why do they have to render all these photos and stuff? Give me the goddamn real photos.
because the camera can't. So if you want high definition pictures, you can't take them for like let's say this table was the Earth, right? If you're taking a large picture from up here down, you can't get good resolution. So you've got to get a camera really close down, taking multiple pictures in a row, and going back and forth like that, taking close up images instead of one really big one. So like let's say you wanted to picture the moon, instead of taking a picture from down here and looking at it, you don't get the good resolution, but you get the whole picture. So
Well, what if I don't want a good resolution? I just give me that one too. You know how it's like sometimes.
well, they do. There's the
Like I can get a good photo shot of the mountain range, but yet I could also do like I've seen those badass ones, or like let's do Machu Picchu where they did. You can get a cool photo of it where it might be cool and you get the whole thing, and I really like them. But then they have the high def ones where you can like fucking zoom in and see the people like touching the wall and shit.
I
That'd
guess
be cool also, but why do they, that's the thing, why do they have to spend only the money for that, Like with the moon adjustments, when you look at the Chinese rover compared to the freaking NASA photos that we have from our landings and shit, it's like two different places, I feel.
well, it's because the moon is really made of cheese. It's a conspiracy.
That's how my life was based off Wallace and Gromit, and so after that, I'm like, it's not.
For me, it's like
Don't you think that's weird? That's a weird thing to spend a lot of money on, right?
yeah, but I think
Remember, you were the one first showing me about how they identified planets. Like I thought, like you were spot. I'm like, oh my god, they were like, there it is. They can see water and
No,
they
dude.
can almost see
What
trees.
would keep the people's interest?
It's little
a
fucking
shitty
dots,
picture
dude.
or a really nice picture. The really nice picture.
Even with the
really nice picture of Uranus versus the really ugly picture of Uranus. I would look at Uranus in
Uranus.
very high definition.
Well, the same with
trust me, you don't
the
want to look
smaller
at my
version with like the Higgs boson and the Hubble telescope. Both of them are both oppositely edited, I guess. So like the Hubble does the far out solar systems in there. I like that, right? They pull up these little photos, and most of them are actually like little dots and numbers. The same way as with the Higgs boson, where there's like a million photos of the atoms colliding, and you have these cool photos or videos of these atoms colliding, what they look like. But really, the photos that they seen was like a sheet of look like the pyramids times table, where you do like 2 times 2 times, and do like all the way to 12, and you had your pyramids times table. Looks like a sheet of those, but little squares are somewhat lit up in different like shades. And they just watch a million of them, and then they're like, oh yeah, that changed a little bit of mass right here, and this, that, and that's how we know. And then they like pay these artists millions of dollars, and they show like these things, like especially with they do the opposite within space. You see this, the Hubble sees all these crazy things, and then they're like, yeah, we've seen these solar systems collide, and they give this cool rendition of these solar systems like colliding and it's breaking apart and everything.
Oh,
But really,
it's
it's
just
little
artist
dots, or like when they see the planets, a little tiny dot in front of the other dot. Yep, there's a moon in that planet because there's a dark shadow that goes in front of it. That's science, bro. And people, I think, sometimes think it's really crazy, but they really miss how simple it is too.
There's the one that I was listening to today. They were talking about a planet that there's like 8 billion planets, Earth-like planets out there, and the closest one to us is like Kepler or something. I don't fucking know. But when you look at the image of the planet, all it is a red dot, like a little yellow dot of the star that we're looking at, and the star just moves a little to the left, a little to the right. And that planet that's moving it around looks exactly like Earth, is what they say. But you can't see it. You can't see the planet. You can't see anything. They go off. They're like radiation lines off the stars, giving off certain radiation lines, so they know that star is. This is how it works. The star gives off certain radiation lines, so they know what the star is made of. Mm-hmm. The star is made of same components as our star. Then the planet is judged to be the same distance away from that star as our Earth is from our star. So that, therefore, it's got to be the same.
But it has the highest probability versus the rest of the planets around.
I feel like that
star.
doesn't mean anything, though.
Just
Because
Technically-
there's what, like 100 billion trillion stars just in our galaxy or something. What are the odds of every planet having to be within, Earth size next to its star?
There has to be a chance, though. You know what I mean?
There's a high chance. I think there's tons of
all those
Earth-like
numbers.
planets.
Well, here's a flat Earth question: why can't we see the stars with the space? Because when we look at like from any point on the Earth, depending even with the starlight or whatever, I can see stars. You can see, it's not like I'm a center point of the Earth or the world, and so or the universe. you can still see stars. When they go out into space, when you're seeing with like the Falcon 9 or whatever, when they're showing the Elon Musk thing, and even with the space shuttle shit, why do they say there's no stars? Because that was one thing that's always curious to me. Why is there no stars in any of the space videos?
I think
Like in the moon and shit like that. Why don't they have stars on the moon? Because I feel like we would have it. Because also on top of that, it's a weird stoner thing. Because even people talk about flat Earth, and I argue with them and stuff, but they talk about it being in a dome, and that's one thing that I guess can.
But you think if they were
prove that
faking
it's
it, they
not.
would fake the stars, right?
But have you ever, like, when you do mushrooms, like I went deep to it, when you do mushrooms at night and you sit there and then you see, like, the stars, you get the feeling it's round. Like, you get the feeling you're either in a dome or it's some kind of snow globe, or what I feel like is I feel like I'm on a flying fucking round rock. You know how, remember you
Now, is that your
described it.
brain just bringing up what you know and, like, 3D editing?
I think at that
everything in?
point, it's beyond your grasp.
Yeah, dude, you're like feeling it.
So
Instead
you
of,
feel like you're on a
thinking-
giant
yeah.
rock spinning.
Yeah,
It could be your subconscious, but you are definitely feeling it.
yeah, it's
internally.
different. It's almost like all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is what it is now, because it makes you feel like, oh my god, this is what reality is. That's what, even though it might be a skewed version of reality, it puts you in that sense of reality, and it does make you feel like you're. It feels like you're fucking round. Like it feels around, like something's round. It feels because when you look up at the stars, it's almost like dome-like, and so it kind of radiates roundwards out.
Yeah.
And so, only mainly because of the Milky Way, you see that like stretch. It blows my mind that like when you get to the moon or get to the other places, all of a sudden that's like gone. And I'm like, why can't I see the Milky Way from the moon? Why is there some like dope versions of the Milky Way from the moon or something? You know, like I don't know. I just because it's weird when you go to space, it's like all black. And that I know there's a scientific answer. I hadn't like looked into it yet. I was trying to.
I
figure
feel
it
like
out.
it'd have to do something with the sun.
I think it has something to do
The
with
reflection
atmosphere.
off of the.
But in the sun, we see the sun.
It doesn't make any sense because you should technically be able to see them in space as well.
I
regardless
think of like
atmosphere.
A Gary's looking mod, or maybe even like how human fall flat is, where you look at a human fall flat version of the solar system. It's kind of like this table where it's round, it's spinning. And on the planet, you put an exaggerated, big, blown-out version of a person on human fall flat. And for their eyes, they have cones that radiate out. Maybe that's the distance they see. You know, you put 100 meters, and so technically it puts like almost like a flashlight. Like, hey, that's where they're looking. Like, you know, solid snake or something. You know, watch out for that. That's their viewpoint. If you
Enemy
put-
viewpoint.
Yeah, if you were to put yourself there, and you could see the viewpoint in the little enemy viewpoint, you're like looking up and you're seeing the stars, seeing the Milky Way, seeing Orion's belt. I imagine if you just took that person, right, and you just put them on the smaller version of it, and they're still that exaggerated person, and because time is relative, technically, right, that is the idea of Einstein's theory, time is relative depending where you're at, so once you move to the moon, even if the moon is spinning or not spinning, and there's a whole day, takes a week for us, and time is shifted, to you, time is still the same, because time is relative. It's made up, whatever
What if
you're
that's the
feeling
answer?
is it, you know? So you're looking there, you're at that point looking around. How come they don't see it, you know? Like, how come the stars aren't around?
What if we're
How
looking
come-
at the past, and as soon as you leave Earth, there is nothing
We
there?
technically are, kind of.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
are looking, 'cause light
And then
takes
once you
time
leave
travel.
Earth, you get to the moon, and there's nothing. The moon is the last one. That's going to go, and then it's going to be Earth,
Unless there's
and
some
then
form
Mars,
of...
and then the sun.
One thing I was thinking is that it's kind of like that old... I've been trying to read more books, and so I've been trying not to do so much, you know, nonfiction and like self-help type style, you know, like psychologist style books is what I've been reading a lot of. So I've been trying to implement some kind of fiction books, and so one book I've been cruising on is one I listened or I read a long time ago when I was little. It's a little thick book of all these old Greek mythology and stuff like that. And even there they talk about with it being like Gaia. So like Mother Earth, Gaia was one of the things where they talked about like the living Earth theory. I have a weird feeling with that, dude. I feel like if
We're
there's
on a
version
giant turtle.
or that's the reason why we're kind of seeing it, or that radiation and stuff. It's absorbing that essentially, you know.
Earthquakes
Like
or turtle
the
farts.
planet itself, you know. Mm-hmm. Because even with the hollow Earth theory, I could easily see that as well. Because most of the planets that we think have life on it, even with the moons around, it's because they believe it has a heated core. We don't even know how deep our planet is, and even between the heated core and the version we have, we could like. It would easily sustain life right inside of it. And we've already found a ton of civilizations, like in Turkey, like all those outside of Göbekli Tepe, like throughout Turkey, all the underground civilizations, the whole cities underground and stuff.
But that's
Well,
because
shit,
those
you know?
people were cave people and they went extinct.
Were they like Bigfoot
Because
people
homo
though? They had to be a
people.
little furry. You don't stay warm while they're underground, running around. You know?
Yeah, we hunted them to extinction because they're probably delicious.
Because it's, I don't know, it's weird. It's like a lot to take in and stuff. But that's the part with the flat earthers where I feel like it gets hard to argue with someone who's really deep into that because for me,
It's hard to argue with anybody who's deep into anything.
Yeah,
It really is.
If they've
It's
made
true.
up their mind, you can't
Yep.
change it.
Because if you tell them,
That's
like,
fact.
well, you get to think, this person, this smart person figured it out. You know, like I could be like, hey, Einstein decided time is relative. You know, blah blah blah. Well, how the fuck do you know that? How could you prove it to us right now? Well, if I was a little bit smarter, I can finish the, E equals mc squared. I'll show you, energy equals large square of mass, blah blah, and do the whole thing. So you might be able to do it, but a lot of it's like the same thing with people. Well, prove it to me right now. How can you prove it to me right now? And so you say like the boat thing. Well, if you see a boat, it kind of disappears, and you see the tail end of it kind of disappear, and so it's in not retrograde, but where it's the opposite. And people are like, well, if you get like 1,000 zoom and you zoom all the way in, you still see the boat. But then it's irrelevant because your eyes. The zoom is meant to put you see at 100 yards plus 1,000 meters with the lens. And then, so it's like putting you out there at 1,000 meters, and then you see with your 100 meters. And then eventually it would do the same thing and say, like, if you had 2,000, it would put you out
At
there.
what
and
point do
see
you
the-
never see it?
Yeah, at what point you run out of those lenses, and then it's going to do the same thing anyways.
But I think even if you had a lens that could see forever, I think it would eventually disappear.
Yeah, eventually, because
Yeah.
what are you going to
Well,
do?
if you're on the opposite side, unless
for-
you have a curved.
Unless there is no other side.
But that's what
Yep.
gets so hard with the flat Earth theory people, because then they'll be like, "Well, prove it to me right now," where they, and say look into it, or "Oh, that person was a hoax. Einstein was a hoax," is what I've been hearing a lot now.
The thing is, people don't understand is that the Earth is so fucking big. I think a lot of people think it's like a Minecraft world, where it's not that
yeah.
big, and you're like, I can see over there.
If I just fly for like an hour, I'll generate the.
That's the thing
entire
that fucking got me is that Texas is as big as like 18 countries in Europe.
Yeah, it's huge, and I think a lot
You know
of
what
people
I mean?
don't get that.
It's like, holy fuck, that's huge.
Antarctica is as big as the United States and Mexico combined.
I think what people need to do is they need to get a fucking wagon and trek from New York to California and
Would
see
be
how
fucking
long
crazy.
it takes, dude. Because
That'd be an interesting
I think
company,
people need
dude.
that
We should totally do
perspective.
that.
Fuck
Fucking
that.
pull people, be like, we want to take the Pioneer Trek and have like pay these
The
like,
Trail of
fucking
Tears. Let's do the Trail of
billionaires.
Tears. That'd be even better.
I
we'd
know,
have
huh?
to
Don't
plan it
even-
perfectly so that, like,
You
we
wanna
don't
feel
end
it?
up in
We're
the
going
mountains.
through businesses and shit.
You think marijuana's racist word? Why don't we send you on the Trail of Tears? Because that fucking is intense, dude. That's,
Crossing a fucking busy highway. You got to do it.
Go, go,
dude,
go.
that's a crazy thing too. Yeah, our infrastructure, that'd be crazy watching people try and do that shit now. We're gonna trek the same way to the Oregon Trail until you hit fucking Kansas City, bitch. You know, it's like, you'd love to see you push those around Kansas City. They'll probably push you down the street. We have to find somewhere to camp. So you'd be probably sleeping on the streets, go to Leglander Bridge. Fucking someone comes, steals their tires off their wagon. I don't know, probably wouldn't, but you never know.
You'd have flying
How would
heads,
you
bro.
steal someone's wagon tires?
They're like, oh, we got to
yourself.
out of principle, dude. They just think they're not going to get
Yeah.
it stolen here, dude. This is not how we roll. It's like,
Look, there used to be natives around here stealing shit. It's like, that's what we're going to pretend to be, dude. They want to pretend to be pioneers.
that'd be funny. I wouldn't be able to get mad at them, dude. All of a sudden, these kids, steal your fucking wagon wheels. You're like, hey, man, why'd you steal those, dude? They're like, just trying to keep the pencil sharp, man, Just trying to stay on the crafts. Haven't seen one, just one had the craft. Decide I'm taking on the challenge. I'd be like, dude, good on you,
Respect,
dude.
respect.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I love to see you trying to always take a challenge.
That's when you pull out a musket.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep the pencil sharp, bitch.
fucking shoot a guy down the
Practicing my
street.
musket.
Dude, they roll out. It's like a fan. It roll out down the street. Fucking hit someone in the window. They're flapping out their rug.
She should not
Are
have
we
been
living in
flapping
the
a rug.
50s? Yeah, it's like, hey man. It's like,
Flapping at your rug where you living. It's like, I bet she was trying to keep her pencil sharp.
we're dumping trash out the window. That was only like fucking 60 years ago. Even when we were talking about
60 years ago, I do it now.
Think about it. Going back to when the Irish were barely coming into America. Fucking
That
people,
was
Back to
not
the Irish
60 years
again.
dude,
ago.
they were dumping that,
was
shit on the
not
ground.
60. You got to remember that 30 years
That's
ago.
150 years ago.
1905.
30 years ago was 1990.
Like our.
That
my
is so
great-
weird.
That would
Yeah.
be like my great
Yeah.
grand. So it'd be like not my great grandparents, right? So not my grandparents, but not my great grandparents. But those grandparents would be the ones that
That were racist as fuck.
Dude,
They
you
were
know
there,
Butch
dude. That's not
Cassidy
even
was
that long.
English? From like fucking England?
Everybody was English at the time, dude.
Yeah,
No,
dude,
like
they're all
they
immigrants, dude.
sailed over here. He sailed over here for 3 months. Parents showed up. They were Mormon. They got a fucking hand cart wagon
That'll
and
do
they
it.
came over to Utah.
Was he born here though?
No.
Yeah, he was.
No,
Was he
he
born
wasn't.
in like Kebab or something?
No, he was freaking from England.
He was born on the boat.
And that's
The
why he looks
Mayflower.
like Wayne Rooney, dude. He looks like Wayne Rooney from
And he-
freaking Manchester United team.
And he comes over here fucking
I don't think
slinging
he's on
lead.
menu anymore.
And now we're going to go look for his gold. What you know about that?
It's in the
right.
Grand Canyon.
Oh, it's in that one fucking Expedition Unknown or something show. Did you watch that? Where they went to Browns Park and they did the thing. And they went to some random dugouts too, which is kind of funny because that was in the area. I don't know if there's anything that hasn't been seen or something that was kind of cool. Some in certain of the areas, the fucking oil company and the gas company had just tore that whole place up, and so they had dug such big areas that if there's some crazy shit, they would have found that already. And so
And who do they have to tell, you know?
you probably no one,
Exactly.
because it's you can. I mean, it's been 10, 15
I bet the
years.
guys that were first digging it up, I bet they're still there.
Yeah,
You know
they,
what I mean?
they do have a little
Yeah.
ranch area. They are, and it's called Dutch John or something. But the area where they had torn through there to do a lot of the gas stuff, you can still see exactly where they dug through. The environment hasn't even recovered yet since wherever they've been. But
They're just like this is what I'm thinking. Like, imagine this: your job is to dig a pipeline, right? And you're sitting there digging the pipeline. You're just a regular worker. You're digging. You hit something. You're like, oh fuck, dude! You open it up. It's a crate full of gold. You call your warden. Hey, you know we found something down here. We're gonna need you to come down here. And look.
What do you have, prison worker?
Well, no, that's what they are. You know, every oil companies have wardens or whatever. The dudes that keep track of all the workers. The dude comes down there with his goonies and he's like, good job, boys. Hey,
We'll report this. Bye.
we'll take care of this. And they're like, but what about us? And winks at his goonie. All the construction workers fall into the ditch. He's like, all right, take it out of here. They jump in their backhoes. Get rid of it. Hey, we're going to need a new crew down here. Nobody ever knows. It's out in the fucking middle of nowhere.
Yep, Santiago's taking a vacation. We need a new crew.
Yeah.
oddly enough, that's exactly how it originally started with that guy that.
Yeah,
that
that
the
fucking
Canyon Jarvis
crazy
Ranch.
guy.
Yeah, like that's how it started. He would have people come in to do that exact same shit, and then when they started getting more mouthy and stuff, he'd waste them. Bam, throw them in the river and stuff, and then he's like, "Yeah, there's
Why
gold
not?
down here. There's gold down here. Haven't you found any? Well, we got to get it first." And you already have some because the people he found gold with, he fucking wasted, you know.
Yeah, let their bodies go down the Green River.
And it's funny that you, like even that because that's one thing I think would be interesting. I mean, it might not be like Butch Cassidy's gold, but so many outlaws had come through there that I think
There might be something.
I guarantee there's stuff because I don't want to. I mean, well, whoever listens to it on the podcast, more power to them. But like with a lot of the stuff in Browns Park, it's fake, you know. Like so, the stuff that sets up like. Remember how we went to the area where
Yeah, where
you
it
go
says
into the
there's
rocks?
grave?
Yeah, where it shows the graves and it shows the rock. And we went up the hill and where the rocks are, you can see the soot and all this stuff where people like camped.
That's probably why the DNR guy was like, dude, don't fucking hang out here, man. Just go somewhere else.
Yeah, because like the area where the graves are, where those two guys are, and how they have the graves.
What's wrong with that place?
It's fake.
It's fake. Those are fake things. The actual
It's set up
graves
by
and stuff
Utah.
would be like way up, like they're up the little crevasse of the area. They're like right at the mouth of the canyon area where we walked around the edge. And like if you just walk to where that points together, that's where they actually are. But instead of having people walk up there,
How did you know that?
because of my grandma and everybody lived there and stuff. And so they told
Have you
me
been there?
I'd been there a long time ago. I thought it was different things, but my grandma was like, "No, those are the same ones." They just put everything down by the river so that it made it seem
It's like a tourist attraction.
Yeah,
kind
because
of
they have
thing.
like the old post office
Wow.
and all that. But
And
the
it
whole
looks
area was
touristy.
the outlaw thing. Like the whole area was all outlaws. So there's other areas where they used to have pieces of wood that were propped up, and my dad went down and knocked a bunch of them down so that people couldn't see it from the road. And he's like, "Yeah," because there's a bunch of like these old dugouts where people would tell us stories like, "Oh yeah, that was where
Really cool.
the natives would scout people here, you know, or do whatever." And so there's all kinds
Fucking
of
bunch of liars,
there's
man.
all kinds of crazy shit out there. Dude, I found like a fucking random shit out there. One time when I was like 6 years old, I found a machete, dude, an old ass one. I'm like, just walking around out in the bushes.
And it makes perfect sense because, like, when you go down there and you
like,
look at it, like when we were there walking around, it looks set up like a museum.
Mm-hmm.
There's like old dugout houses, but they're in really good condition, and some of them have like lock pads on them. Some don't. You can walk in there and they just look run down and made of dirt and like logs and shit. But they look like someone was trying to make it look like a dugout. If that makes sense. It doesn't look like an outlaw dugout. And there's like carts and shit just strewn about with like name tags on them, so it looks like a. And then conveniently, like 30 feet away, there's two graves that say they're the graves of the guy that was murdering people there.
But why
and
would
the
you
guy who murdered
fucking
him?
Put your own gravestone up?
Yeah, why would you even bury the people
Yeah.
you murder and you just toss them in the river and be like, see, yeah.
Well, one of them was the warden who was murdering people, and then the other one was the guy who murdered him or something like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, the
like
guys who are
standoff.
wanted for
They
something
had a standoff,
and have
stabbed each other or some shit.
fucking
so they buried them next to each other, like as
that's
a
dumb.
like this is what's going to happen to you two. So they buried the two guys that hated each other next to each other. But then when we were there, the DNR agent or what are they? DHR, DNR,
Yeah, they're.
the wildlife guys. He's like, "Oh, there's nothing here, guys. Just go fuck off somewhere else." He's like, I think it was just him telling us like, this is a fucking fake, and I don't want you guys destroying, my museum looking for fucking gold because there's no gold here. It's a museum, dude. Go fuck off. Like, you don't go into the National History Museum looking for mummies. It's a fucking museum. Yeah, there's.
Well, you actually do because there are mummies there.
Yeah, but you're not going to be like, oh, this is discovered, but I bet in the basement there's like buried treasure. It's like, no, there isn't, dude. We bring shit here. If you want to find that stuff, go dig out in the desert. Look for it. You're not going to find it here.
It's like Night at Museum.
Yeah, so I think it's the same thing with over there. There's the fake dugouts where everybody goes. There's even a fucking campground across the bridge where you can camp.
Yeah.
So I think there's like a fake tourist area, and then there's like the real shit where you've got to go out into the mountains with like a four-wheeler, dodging rattlesnakes and shit, and jaguars or whatever the fuck's
So
out there.
they're just trying to
for
keep
it.
you safe. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think there's like a
Yeah.
little tourist area.
And it's
where-
still popular because it is when you do an area of the Green River, if you break it into sections, a lot of the stuff they have there is like for day journeys, and that's what made Browns Park, I think, also popular. Is because they also called it Browns Hole for the longest time, where it was kind of where everything kind of funneled in and stuff, and so they had
But Brown's Hole is kind of funny, so
yeah. And so they actually changed it because that was really affiliated with outlaws and stuff like that, and so they wanted to kind of get rid of the outlaw name, and so that's why they did a park instead, and so to kind of shake off because it was mainly just a notorious outlaw town, so a bunch of fucking crooked.
I bet we could find
That's
like
way
some old
cooler.
guns, dude, and shit there. I think that'd be cool. Find an outlaw gun on the ground or like buried, even if it's like an old
check
revolver.
this out. Bam! It shoots off. Brick's dead.
I'm like,
Oh, you just got killed by Butch Cassidy.
I'm like, the outlaw still lives.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. You gotta bury him
Dig
in
in.
honor.
Brick's like, I'm still alive. I'm like,
That's what they would do anytime. Dude, outlaws would do that shit.
You'd have to. Sorry,
Especially if
Brick.
they stole it, if it was like a hot gun or some shit. Anytime outlaws would go meet with each other, especially over there in those areas, they would either hide or ditch their loot or whatever they had, fucking bury it, usually outside, and then go to the place because it was just notorious outlaw stuff that they figured they'd just get
I
fucking
think
killed and then
differently.
steal that shit, and that
No
way
way,
they would
dude.
hide it.
so
No
now
way.
imagine being an outlaw. You hide
No
your
way.
fucking mad loot,
Where
and
else?
you go
so
into
if you think
town,
about it,
and then you get killed. Your loot's still hidden there.
you got to
No
think
one's gonna
about it
know
though.
about it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that's the outlaw town, right? So where else are they going to hide their loot? In the town, the outlaw town.
No, they hide it in the outskirts
all
somewhere
over,
like.
yeah.
Exactly. That's what they want you to think, but it's not there.
I think
If
a lot
you
of
were an
time-
outlaw, wouldn't you do that before you went into a place where you knew?
Before I
people
went
were
to the
fucking
outlaw
greedy?
town where I know other outlaws are trying to get your shit because they don't give a fuck, I
If
would
you
have
go in
fucking hid my gold way before I got to the outlaw town. Because when I get to the outlaw town, I don't want
People
anybody to
aren't
get
thinking
mine.
about that. They're trying to save their lives. There's a high probability of someone like fucking that robbed a train or maybe a town before, ran in there all pushing all night, barely get in there, and they're like, "Fuck, we got to talk to these dudes." Hurry and buries his shit outside, walks in there and kind of like trying to make a deal, thinking he's hot shit. Boom, gets wasted. To fucking throw his ass in the river.
Exactly. my
No one has
point.
idea where his fucking. He's the only one that knows his treasure's there.
Yep.
So bam.
Now there's fucking
You move,
old
next thing you know,
notes and
you,
shit.
Yeah, you dig up a fucking old pistol that he was stolen that he shot from the sheriff, and you dig up his old badge. Oh fuck that!
Oh, dude, that would be so cool.
Would you report it?
I would like to get some.
Allegedly, I would report it. Just throwing it out there, I would
I would
report
report
everything that I find.
I
Putting
think
it out
it'd be
there.
cool to put it in a museum and have like found by so and so.
Yeah, I
you
think-
just want your picture up, don't you?
Yeah,
'Cause, yeah, I
just
don't-
Like we
the-
talked
I
about
like the
before.
popularity
I
of
think it would be
finding
harder to
something
get the
cool.
money off treasure, don't you think? Once you found a treasure,
I wouldn't. I'd have it mounted on my wall, man.
I mean, if I found like a pot of gold, I would like steal a few coins just to have and be like, "That was cool." But I think a lot of it, I would like. I mean, that gold you could probably turn into something, but like if it was a gun or certain things, I would definitely turn it into a museum just so it could be.
Nah, dude. If it was
If
a
it-
fucking
you could check it out,
repeater
it'd be
that
cool.
said fucking.
If it was like mint condition, like let's say you found a
It
fucking
wouldn't be
crate.
mint.
No. I'm saying like
Great. It's all
let's-
wrapped and everything. Some of those last forever, dude.
sometimes they might like let's say we
It
found a
says
fucking
Joseph
crate.
Smith on it.
Oiled.
It was like, and it was just sitting in Cosmoline, dude, or something like the equivalent of it.
Solid
and you open it
gold,
up,
solid
gold
brass,
repeater,
copper.
dude.
There's a
You're
top
like,
hat in there. You're like, it's
Yeah.
his hat that he used.
Abraham Lincoln, a hole in it.
It's the one they used to fucking find the tablets, dude. Oh my god. Joseph Smith used Abraham Lincoln's hat to find the
Yep.
golden tablets. Oh my god.
with a golden repeater.
As soon as you start thinking about it, you turn
We
around
don't
and
even
there's a
need to
guy
go
right
find
there.
it, dude. We just
There's
saw
an old like ghost cowboy.
Welcome to hell, boy.
Yeah, like your friends at the camp, all they hear is
Hey,
off in the distance.
Even if you want to go back into that area, because even at the time, there was still, well, they were still coming across, but there were still like a lot of Native American issues and stuff too, with a lot of, because it was still Wild West tribal times, and so they have a lot
But
of
they weren't
crazy.
in the West.
But they have a story of the one-eyed Indian. My grandpa would always joke with us. He'd be like, the one-eyed Indian, the
Your
one-eyed
grandpa
Indian.
was an asshole, dude.
he's a racist.
There was Indians that lived up in the hill like that. They were like, and it's like
They're
that
all
one.
one-eyed.
They
were-
can't see very well.
Well, I think there was one that was notorious, and they'd come down and fucking scalp. They were scalping fools like nothing, dude. They were catch. A lot of the people too. The reason why I think that their treasure still might be out there because a lot of, like, a ton of natives were just still running through there like small bands that were doing similar things but separate. So they just walk in there and get a couple scalps.
So maybe another outlaw didn't shoot another outlaw. Maybe an outlaw got scalped out there, like a rookie outlaw.
But what would the Indian do with the gold?
They wouldn't need the gold. They take a scalp.
Or like even dudes take the guns and the
guns.
leather and shit off. Yeah,
Well, they
it's
know
like-
it's valuable. I think they
Well,
would.
like let's
Say
say
he
an
hit
outlaw
it.
hit it first, and then
And
he
then-
start walking in, and all of a sudden he gets jumped.
They're all meeting somebody, and they're like, "This fire's a little hot, boy. You sure no one's seen us out here? No one follow this." All of a sudden, freaking right through the little crack of the wood.
I don't know why, but all
Right
these
into one of their
scenarios, we're thinking about, I don't know why, but Shia LaBeouf plays a part in every single fucking
He's
one.
like the one out
in my
there.
mind.
It's like that show. What is that? Lawless or
Holes.
something?
No, Lawless and slash Holes.
His brother's always having a fight for him, whatever.
Yep.
But the other thing that's interesting too is because that river area is super popular, and then just right up the hill, you know, it was a huge homestead area. So all the homesteaders came in all around there.
Is there a waterproof, fucking, what are they called, metal detector?
I think
it's gotta be,
there are.
right?
They are. Yeah, there's a couple.
Dude, there's
there's some on YouTube.
Do you want to find
there's
some
a guy
gold?
that
Take
does
one
the
out
river
there.
stuff.
I'll tell you right now.
The stuff he finds, I would love to do that. Actually,
The river is actually kind of creepy, dude. Like,
I know it is. I drove over it. It's the same one, right? With the bridge over it?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Green River.
When I was trying to find you guys, and you guys
Oh, that's a
fucking
lie,
Dude,
dude.
camouflage out there like a
Taking all
bunch
the
of
meat.
we're like,
biscuits.
Brian, we see you.
Yeah,
Can't
they're
you
like
see
up there, I
us?
see a little fire burning, put out just barely. You see a little bit of smoke.
And we brought
Trying to
we only
hide.
like some food.
Sending you smoke signals.
Yeah.
Fucking no one brought food.
If you don't understand, fuck them.
Dude, that was weird too because no one brings food out there. I'm like, dude,
Dude, next time when, we're going out there, right?
I already went out there
In April.
today. I think it's probably
No,
going
we
back
go.
today.
Are we going out there? Because I'm gonna bring some fucking food. Like,
April?
well, I did. I fucked up.
You guys didn't take food last time? What the hell was wrong with you?
No,
We did.
what?
You
There
were
was
supposed to
some-
bring the meat, and then,
There were some friends that were supposed to bring the fucking meat, and that they didn't bring anything except for a bottle of vodka or something.
have drink.
Yeah, and then we had to rely on Brick's cousin to
People are like,
bring
yeah,
us actual substance.
It's like, I thought there'd be food out here. Or stores
There's
out
literally a
here.
gas station down the street, or up
No.
the canyon.
I was like fucking an hour away, maybe.
Not even that. It's like 25, 30 minutes.
Whatever, dude. That one gas station. How far do you think that is? 45.
Next to the fireworks stand.
Yeah, it's like
That's pretty far out, dude.
45 an hour.
It's either that
It's
or
far, yeah.
fucking dying of
'Cause
starvation.
that shit's still Wyoming, dude. You have to drive all the way back into Utah. That's where.
I think
That
that's
don't matter,
what, I think
dude.
that's what made me sick, dude. I think that's why I got sick because there wasn't. I think all I had that weekend was like a hot dog and an avocado. It was not good, dude.
Jesus.
Because then the only reason I had
all
a
you
hot
need,
dog was
dude,
because
avocados.
fucking Brick's cousin brought it over and he brought it was like a pack of 6 or something. And I didn't even have a
your-
full
that's-
hot dog.
that's
I
your
split
mistake
it with
right
somebody.
there.
Whatever. I thought you were
Relying
saying.
on
So you
someone
stuck all
else for
6 in your
sustenance.
mouth.
Well, dude, I was just like, fuck everyone else. Fuck all the women and children.
No.
Yeah, it was all vegetarian food and stuff. And it was
Yeah.
like, there's no meat.
The most we had was like, what, an egg in the for breakfast and then
Kill
avocados.
your dinner.
I felt like it was pretty good.
We were trying to, but fucking,
People were like, no. I had a fucking AK with me. I could have easily gone out hunting, but no, nobody wants to do that.
Dude, that would be a little bit too much. But then again,
No way, dude. That
Bullshit.
Just like-
Once everybody's eating, then they won't fucking
yeah,
complain.
you'd blow it to pieces, dude.
No, an
jackrabbit-
AK.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Right in the head.
A cottontail is the only thing you probably want to eat because they're like.
Dude, I'm an ace shot. I would have just skimmed the top, knocked
You
him
shoot a
out.
jackrabbit, it's all tough and gross and probably have fucking bacteria.
That's true.
It's either that or half a hot dog. I'm eating a
Yeah.
fucking rabbit. I'm sorry, but
dog,
How do you cottontail? They're like nice, and if you get them a little, they're not as like stringy and shit. Because, dude, those jackrabbits, they're fucking disgusting, really. But
Have you ever had one?
have I eaten one?
all you need is tapatio, man.
Well,
Not
there's a
from
lot
out
of
there.
tapatio. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, dude, usually around Halloween,
I've
it's
eaten,
the best.
cottontails, I've eaten
Cinco de
normal
Mayo?
rabbits.
Cinco de Mayo, my freaking Hispanic vampire.
Think about a regular one. Those are tasty. It's just like when you get at the fucking grocery store, you let those big-eared ones grow till like they're.
A rabbit?
Do they sell rabbit at the grocery store?
I don't know. Alexi fed me that one that they had grown, and that I was surprised. But
That was delicious.
honestly,
I've
yeah,
never
I was like,
tried
this
it.
is pretty good. I mean, it sucks because they're nice and little tiny, cute little rabbits and stuff. And if I was like a pet, I wouldn't eat it. But
Yeah, but it's
I
just
would
gonna
grow 'em to
die.
eat
You're
'em,
gonna
dude.
bury it, and it's just gonna sit there. You know.
But you don't want to eat it.
circle of life.
That's with any
Keep
food,
it
though.
going.
You don't eat them when they get old, dude. You eat them when they're
Yeah.
young, unfortunately.
Well, no.
Dude, that's the worst though. Like you're like, dude, that's one of the best. But
That's how, like, with most of all of like the lamb thing that felt was so funny. I'm like, well, what's the difference between sheep and lamb?
lamb's
He's
a
like,
baby sheep, dude.
Yeah, he's like, that's a baby. I was like, what? He's like, "These lamb are babies. I'm like, oh, I
makes
never
them so
put two and
delicious.
two together. I was like, oh,
It's because they're very muscular animals, so like they're usually
Whatever
running around
the-
and jumping around, so their muscles get all like.
isn't it like less muscle,
strong.
it's fatty, or is it?
No,
veal?
you want, the reason lambs are more desirable than like grown sheep or whatever is because when they're older, their muscles are more stringy and rubbery.
Oh,
So you
yeah,
don't
that
want-
makes
you
sense,
don't-
'cause they've
people don't
been
want 'em.
around a little longer. Use them, a
And
little
they're more gamey and disgusting tasting. They don't taste very well. You can,
Correct.
You can usually when
so
you're eating,
horrible, dude.
when someone's like, "Yeah, this is
How is
lamb,"
that horrible?
Because what if an alien race were to come and scoop us down once, like Prometheus, 12 planets?
Then they'd
sits
eat all
around?
their children, and we'd be all right.
yeah,
But or do
already
we
old.
fall in
They
that
just
category,
roll
or
around
are we
them.
like young lamb?
No, dude.
No, we're
Well,
old.
I don't
Already
know.
old. You've already developed
Depends.
cancer. Fuck.
Yep.
You just haven't known it yet until you get a little deeper in age.
Then you
and
get
it'll
those.
really start
You
seeing
get
some
those
side
groups
effects.
that'd be like, "Well, we're not getting eaten. That's fucking racist."
Oh, dude, I was
I
gonna.
would get peed on. dude.
Alienist.
I'd be like, that's fucked up, dude. You talk about being equal rights for animals. Why don't you let yourself get eaten? Right?
It's facts.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you. You ever hear the YouTube channel called Louder with Crowder?
No.
That is a good YouTube channel.
Why?
So he goes around like campuses around the U.S.
Why-
I think it's
why
only
you
one
give
campus.
Shout-outs.
Well, what he does is I like it because he basically thinks like we do, but he goes on there and he sets up a table and
So
he
he's
gets like
special.
yeah, he's very
Especially.
needs, and he sets up like a table and it says I'm pro gun. Changed my mind about it.
Okay. I've
and
seen a bunch of
incriminating.
memes about this guy.
Yeah, and he sets him up, and
they
people come
changed
and
it.
they
I did see those
and they
too.
talk to him about it, and it's fucking hilarious, dude. There's one where it's like on a campus or some shit, something about like campus rape or some shit, or no white privilege. He's like, I think white privilege is fake, so change my mind about it. And somehow they get on the topic of like campus rape or some shit. And the one guy that's on there, he's just like screaming and yelling and crying about it. And the dude's like, I don't understand what the fuck your problem
You're a
is.
rapist.
Yeah, basically, but
Goddamn rapist.
I don't know. I just wanted to tell you guys to check
Watch
that
it.
YouTube channel out because it's really
I'm
good.
the
And
rapist.
I feel like a lot of
Grapist.
people.
I love the grapist from The Whitest People You Know.
Does he try?
You
Does
know.
the guy try and hold a stance, or just let people argue, or
he's actually really good about it.
just
Like,
being devil's advocate or something?
no, he's really good about it. He puts down facts, puts down arguments, and he like listens
Check
to
the facts,
them.
bro.
And then most of the time, what ends up happening is the people end up contradicting themselves, but they're so stubborn they don't give a
They
shit.
walk away.
I feel like you'd get assaulted or some shit.
A lot of times it gets close to it, and
It's like a lot of those professors and shit that will go down and that you see having issues with a lot of those social justice warriors type style schools. They'll have issues with that. They'll go have talks with them and shit, and they get like crazy on them, dude. I'm like, I would love to see it. I mean, I imagine a student. I'd love to see that shit. I bet they probably get fucking. They probably get it full
Yeah,
blown.
they should have an
even worse.
octagon right there so they can solve it like real men.
But that wouldn't
It's the old
wouldn't
school
solve
way,
anything
dude.
though
Why not?
because they would just be like, "Where's my safe space?" You're like, what the fuck, dude? You stepped into an octagon and you want your safe space. Like, what the fuck?
Unless they win, dude. Unless they're winning, then they're like this. Then they'll probably. That's what's crazy part about that kind of shit.
I think the Lord will help you win.
Dude, Lord will help you win anything.
Well, they have that mentality where, like, yeah, if they were to get knocked down, they'd be like, "Where's my safe space? Where's my safe space?" But if they were to like kick somebody down, they'd probably be kicking them. Yeah, and this is for this person.
And then
this
while
is
the
for
other
that.
person's crying about safe space, they'd be like, "No, fuck
No,
you."
yeah, this is what you get for invading our safe space. Fucking, what are the people right now trying to be like fascism or something? And it's like, dude, you'd get shot in the face for that, you know. And
that's what he was saying too. He's like, you guys are preaching fascism, but he's like, you've never seen a real fascist, a real fascist would fucking shoot you in the face,
like,
and that's what would happen.
you just
It's
slap
like
down right there. The fact they even try to do that, it's like,
it's like a lot of I think, and that's why I like this channel. I ended up watching like, all of his videos, but it was just refreshing. But then, in a sense, it startled me a little bit to realize how stupid some
You
people
gotta
are.
understand, that's only a handful. It's not the whole campus.
No,
that's
dude, it was a
going up
lot of people.
there. A handful.
A lot. Like,
think a lot
everybody
of-
that was around him was yelling at him and calling him names and shit, and he's just like, whatever, dude. Free speech. I can say whatever the fuck I
think
want.
campuses will pull. That's one problem I find with
You
a
think
lot
they pull
of.
back?
No, they pull a certain mentality. So whatever the mob feeling
It's not
is,
campus, it's mom mentality.
I think it is,
overall.
but they'll consume a campus. You know, like a lot of these liberal arts schools will become like consumed. Where if anyone were to
If
pull
it's a
that
liberal
idea,
arts school, who's going to that school? Definitely not the white supremacist dude.
Westminster though. But say if there was a white supremacist dude there, he's going to get a lot of.
But it doesn't matter. If you're a white guy wearing a white T-shirt, you're a white supremacist.
But
or
they're actually going to get a lot
Unless
of news.
you're
That's
not
what they
bald.
want, dude. They want that shit though.
Well, it sucks because a lot of males have male pattern baldness. So if you're wearing a white shirt and you're in your 30s, now you're a male. Now you're fucking Nazi.
Well,
You
see, that's
better
the
get a
problem with
tattoo.
all that shit though.
You better get a tattoo on your
Well,
fucking
that's the
head
problem.
saying "not Nazi."
Dude, that's the problem with all that shit is that in Nazi, whatever the fuck they want to do, like some dude can go to any one of these like, I guess liberal arts schools or whatever. So some fucking Nazi with 30 followers can go to Westminster right now and put up with something and be like, I'm fucking racist, prove me wrong. Every single person there, because it's naturally liberal arts school, they kind of went for certain studies that are promoted there. They're going to go there, and he knows it's provocative, and they know it's going to turn a point. And so they're going to come in. He's going to be able to film at least 50 to 60 people, be like, hey, fuck you, blah, blah, and get the 10 best ones. You know, put them on there where it's good argument and reaction. And then be like, see, fucking the social justice warrior people are evil. They did this to me. I'm a Nazi. And then all of a sudden, this one dipshit with 30 followers that went and attacked 30 people at a school has a platform.
How did he attack the 30 people at a school and he's just
He
voicing
set up
his
his
He
desk
set up a
free
thing,
speech?
and it was like it's almost like clickbait. It's like set up.
It
a
is,
deck
but
and be
you
like,
got to be
you know
the
that
smart
they're gonna do
person
it.
and not click on it.
But how many
if
people
you know
are not
that
smart?
gonna do it.
There's a lot.
exactly, so
There's a
why the
lot.
fuck worry about it? That's
But
what
say
I'm
if there's
saying.
500 people, at least 50. That's all he needs is going to stop. That's all he needs. And then once they do that, that's plenty because he'll really only need 10,
That's the
10
fucking
on the thing.
problem is that people like us, we will drop it. I don't give a fuck about that.
I don't know,
You know what I
dude.
mean?
You know, I've been on this topic about being a Hispanic vampire for a couple of years now, and no one's taking me
Yeah, no.
seriously.
I don't know, dude.
Once they get
I
that
feel like if I
Antarctic
saw
DNA.
that guy standing out there trying to get people to be on their YouTube videos, it goes both ways.
I think a
You
lot of
know what
people,
he's
though-
trying to do, so why would you go up to him? So you're probably part of the problem as well.
Yeah.
But if you're a person that is just kind of there at school or does whatever, or you're trying to join some program, and
Who are you
see
trying
it,
to save by going to talk to this Nazi?
you're standing up for all the people that didn't have a voice. I'm the
that.
voice for these people that you suppress,
Nah.
you know. And then they see a camera,
I'm
and,
alright.
and then all of a sudden, fuck yeah, they have a platform now. That camera's out, and then they think people.
Yeah.
And really, you'll even see a lot of that shit on YouTube. Someone will put up some shit where you're like, this person's crazy, and you'll have a small margin of dislikes, but you'll see most comments be like, yeah, this person's crazy. But yet it'll get circulated in its group where they're all like, yeah, this was great, and it's like,
I think
well, oblivious fuckers are reading this, you know?
yeah, the real smart people are the people you don't see in the videos. The people that just walk by and are like, fucking stupid.
I love
That's
that
a
video where
problem,
the Nazi guy was in like Seattle or something, or a really ratchet ass part of Washington, and he's like sitting there screaming about something, and he just gets knocked out, dude.
But that ain't right, though.
One punch.
That ain't right,
boom.
though.
It ain't, but it's funny.
He went to an area probably where he knew that shit.
Yeah, you go to a
dude.
fucking
That's true.
area like that, you're
That's
gonna
true.
get what's coming to
It's
you,
true.
and then someone's gonna
I
get it on
100%
camera,
agree.
and
It's
you're
funny
fucked.
that he got knocked out. It's funny that he did that. It's funny that he went and picked a place where,
of all places,
that you would go. But the fact that that guy punched him, one is, like, a lot of people don't realize this, but you're living in America, and you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want.
Dude,
Like,
assault.
it could be offensive as fuck, but you live in America. And a lot of people don't realize this because they don't live in a country where if you say something that the country doesn't agree with, you're dead.
Russia.
It's like, and I think that's the American privilege is the next thing we need to fucking address. It's like, you have American privilege. White privilege is one thing. American privilege is another thing.
People talk we need to address that. Maybe everybody should have that. You know, I feel like everyone should have that pompous attitude where, you know, capitalism is free. I can do whatever I want. Maybe, you know, where because I feel like a lot of people that immigrate to America, definitely when they make that gap, they live the American dream so much more than a lot of the other people.
Yeah.
That kind of
Well,
have
because
been
they
through
come from a worse background, right? Well,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
not worse per se,
I
but
feel like American generations have been made to become like workers and, you know, people that don't want to live the American dream. And so I feel like our school system kind of breeds us into
Yeah,
that.
our
school
ruins
system,
us.
parents, government.
And on top of that, a lot of people that come from other countries are more American than people that are actually born here and grow up here with that privilege because they don't see it. It's just like, in my opinion, the thing they're arguing about white male privilege is the same thing they have as being an American privilege. Where it's like, look, you're yelling at this guy for being white and being in America, and you're yelling that he's got white male privilege. But it's like, you don't see the privilege that you have as being an American living in this country. If you're yelling at someone because you tell, let's say Brick says something and I don't agree with him, and I tell him, Brick, you're not allowed to say that. In a sense, I'm like a communist.
Yeah, that's the way they
I'm
want
forcing
it,
Brick
Fascism.
not to be, fascism. I'm forcing Brick not to be able to do something that he wants to do.
what if you
it's
say the
communist.
N-word?
But it's because
Technically, you could say whatever you want. It's America. Like, you're free. This is the land of the home of the brave, land
You
of
heard
the
it
free.
here, folks. Hope.
You're allowed to do whatever you want. Like,
But it is
it's
a
fucked
circle,
up.
though.
Like, I agree. It's fucked up to say certain shit to people. It's fucked up to make fun of people. It's fucked up to be a troll. It's not right to do that stuff. I agree with you. But people have the right to do it. Like, that's why we live here. If you don't want people to say that stuff, you go to Russia.
Stop giving them attention.
Yeah, you stop.
Really, yeah,
Stop giving them attention.
Yeah,
Stop
go to another place or
stopping
stop
at that
giving
guy,
them
the Nazi that's sitting outside of your campus saying, "Oh, I'm a racist."
Yeah, you stop giving him
fuckers.
attention. But the
fuck
thing
that.
is-
Walk by him and laugh.
But
and that's
yeah.
it. He'll leave in
That's
a week
because
if
it's
nobody
your-
comes
it's
up
your
to
right.
him.
It's your right. It's your right to
Exactly.
even walk up to him and be like, "Look, I think you fucking Nazi ass. I think you're a piece of shit." That's your right. You can walk up to him and say that to him. But as soon as you walk up to someone and you say, "You are not allowed to say that. You're going to fucking small jail cell, and we're going to put you in there forever," you just took away. You just took America out of America.
Yeah,
like you're not
doing-
American anymore.
you're doing basically that same shit. I feel like it's kind of a circle thing. Like someone will, like that, they'll say some shit that they don't want to hear, and they'll be like, "Hey, you can't say that shit. I want to hear this." You know, and you're doing that same shit to them.
In
as
a
that they're
sense,
doing to you.
in
know?
a
It's
sense,
like-
if there's a Nazi on the fucking school premises spewing his bullshit, and you walk up to him and you put him in a jail cell, you're in a sense a Nazi as well because you just took.
I don't
his,
know about
you-
that because if he's on school premises and the
If,
school,
if the school gave him permission, because schools do give permission to anybody. If you want to practice free speech, a school will give you permission to practice free speech.
depends though.
college.
It depends because
If it's a club-
schools also
it's a
have
club-
like a anti-racist sort
Yeah.
of deal. So
some that's why I feel
No.
like that's why we're getting the issue now is because people are like they're pushing
How many
pushing that
Nazi,
barrier where
you
they're
know,
like, what the fuck they're doing at
That's
this
true.
school, and they're like, well,
Clubs.
we're kind of trying to stop doing it.
Probably none, but if you're
join the Nazi club at Westlake Junior
Shit,
High.
you only need one. You only need one jackass to set up a fucking like a little stand to step on and a little thing and to be like, I'm a Nazi, I'm a group, I'm this. You know, it's like the fucking Parkland, Florida guy. Like some random dipshit of some random fascist group was like, yeah, he wanted to be part of our group because the guy had even just commented on something on his Instagram when there was zero connection, zero whatever. And this one guy he's the only member of his dumbass group, and he tried to like affiliate this guy to get like the kills. I
But
guess.
like even if it's not Nazis, even if it's like white privilege or male privilege or whatever, if it's on that topic, if you're
white
willing
privilege
to
and male privilege, you have to separate. Well, I guess
white
there's
male
still-
privilege, if you let's say you're spewing white male privilege, you're like white males deserve this, white males deserve that. If you're saying that and someone comes up to you and go, no, you don't deserve that, you deserve to go to jail for saying that, they're in the same fucking boat as you.
I've never seen anybody do that though.
You need to watch some Louder with Crowder, bro.
Or I should just keep doing what I'm doing and not get fucking dumbed by the
That's
internet.
true. The internet's stupid.
Clickbaiting
But the
on
worst
fucking
part is,
shit
dude.
that's stupid.
Well, knowledge is power. It's good to know.
Yeah,
dude.
the worst part
that
is
ain't
is like
knowledge. That's fucking.
that's
that's
knowledge
a waste
because
of
it's
time. Dude.
It is a waste of time, but it's also eye-opening to know that there are these people around you that are willing.
I don't
to
need
put,
to open my
They're
eyes. I
wasting their
know
time
that they're
for it.
there.
They're wasting their time, and they're advocating putting people in jail for things they say.
There's going to
which
be
is
stupid people
anti-American.
no matter
Yeah,
what.
which is-
No matter how many YouTube videos you watch, there's going to be stupid people out there.
That's true.
And now they all have a platform, social media. So stay off of social media, or not social media entirely. Stay off of Facebook. That's what you need to stay off.
Don't stay off social media. What you do want to do is you want to
stay
get on Instagram.
Boom.
You want to get on the Lost Minds podcast.
Amazon
And you want to
even.
follow us on there. Get on Amazon. Purchase some of our T-shirts that would really help the podcast.
Those things are legit.
They are. We're working on some new T-shirt updates.
And at the end of the day, follow your heart, dude. Do what you want. If you want to fucking go on social media, do it. You know,
Don't do
go
it.
deep.
But if you don't go, you're freaking...
Don't waste your time. Grow some muscles.
You're not
Start
American.
lifting. Drink some alcohol. Smash a beer bottle on the ground. Do what you want. Shoot a gun in the air. America. Yee yee.